In this section, we'll be looking into transactions. So let's look at what transactions are, when to use them, and what are their common uses and their syntax. So in terms of the definition, SQL transactions are used to execute a set of SQL statements in a group. With the transactions, either all the statements in the group execute or none of the statements execute. And to revert back, we use rollback. We can also save to a save point to go back to that save point. So in terms of the uses, so transactions are heavily used in banking transactions where it's important to make sure all the transaction passes or none of them passes. So any transactions where all the transaction needs to complete or none of them needs to complete, and if you are making any modification to your SQL statements where you need to have option to roll back if you made mistakes, then you can also use transactions. So in terms of the syntax, so a transaction starts with the begin, and at the end you have a commit statement. So begin and then transaction keyword with the transaction name if you want to give a name, but that's totally optional. And then if you want to save, let's say up to a certain point, you can use save point. So you give save point keyword and then give your save point a name. So which you can later on use in rollback statement if you want to roll back to that. So to roll back to a certain save point, you just do roll back to and then the save point name. Now, in terms of the example, let's look at some basic example first. So we start with the begin and end with the commit statement. So when you do the commit, it actually performs the operations. And then in the begin and commit statement, we are trying to update the product and also insert two values into the product. So we update the product, set the names to noodles and unit price to 25, where the product ID in this case is 13, but you can also use other values, and also insert new value into the product with the name rice, 10 for the unit price of 10, category of food, and description with white in color, and also insert another value of butter. So this is a simple transaction example. So let's look at another a little bit more complex transaction example. So in this case, we will start with the begin and end with the commit as before. But in this case, we'll update the product and set the name to long noodle, unit price to that, and also have a save point and a save as my save point. And then insert another statement over here into the product, and then again have another save point, name it my save point. So and then insert another value and try to roll back to my save point. So second or third statement of the insert, the second is insert statement, will be rolled back by the rollback statement. We can check using the select statement. And if you want to discard certain save point, you can also release the save point. Basically, releasing my save point will make it release the first save point over here, and we'll roll back to topmost save point by the consecutive rollback statement. And we can see that using a select product example. So to check the product tables, we just do select and an asterisk from product. And let's move ahead and watch some hands-on, and let's write some code for transactions. For the transaction, we will start with begin and we end with the commit statement over here. So you can also give your transaction name using transaction and then the name, but I will just keep it simple for now. So we try to update and product. So before I update anything, I would also like to see the product table. So what I can do is select all from city product table, and then just select this and then run this. So we can see that there are up to 11 ID. So I will just in this case use 11 in our update statement. So set name equals to noodles, price equals to 25 in this case, and where so our we need to fix our 11 number, which has a unit price of -1, to where unit underscore, so product ID equals to 11. So this is one statement that we want to execute, and we want to execute I insert into product product, and we want to give them name, unit price. I think we also have to give it a product ID because I haven't set it to auto increment. So product ID in this case, category name, description, and then we want to give it the values of, since we are up to 11 in our statement, you can look at your products table and start from where it's ending. So I'll just give it a 12, and then the product name will be rice, and the unit price will be 10, and the category will be food. Description, I will just give it color. And then likewise, I will do the same thing by copying this over here. So Control C, and then I will just replicate this product ID unit description value, and I will just add 13, and this would be, let's say, butter, and add it a unit price of 15 for the packet, and it's a food, and then give it a description is like smooth. Okay. Now, in order to run this at a SQL statement, so transactions, I will just select this statement and then run it. And then we have an error over here. I forgot to add a begin semicolon over here, and then commit, and then run this. And I will just try to run it. And it committed query and successfully ran. So if we see the product tables, sure enough, the product has 11 has to be updated, and two new rows has to be added. So if we see, let's move it a little bit up. So sure enough, the product 11 noodles has been updated with a unit price of 25, and a rice and butter has been added. So this is a simple example. So if anything goes wrong, so this will not take into reflection. Uh, in order to mimic that, let's try to add certain um, values that doesn't fit in this category. So for instance, uh, let's try to make this noodle a long noodle. Let's say long noodle, and then the unit price will keep this as the same. So this statement should be correct, and then we'll try to give it as a unit price of, let's say, $2 for now. And then we'll update this 10 knowingly with a query statement with, let's say, FIV5. And this statement should, and the butter is, we will update this with 22. So the first and the last statement is correct, but the second statement has a 5 in it, which should be technically a double precision integer value, so float value, but it's a string value, so it should not commit any of that. So let's go ahead and run this. And sure enough, and so it showed an syntax error over here. Mm. Syntax and a type of double precision, so it does not run. So it does not run. So if we go and select the product table, so if we go and select the product, it says current transaction is aborted or ignored until end of transaction command. So until the end of transaction blocked. Okay, so it's saying your current transaction is aborted, command ignored until the end of transaction. So so we can give it a name, let's say, and then we can give it, let's say, a $12, and then run this again, and it's not going to run. So we have to do a rollback. So I'll just do a rollback. Rollback. Now, if we see the product, the table, then I can see the table over here. And since that was not running, so we also had to do rollback because the transaction did not complete. Now, if we go ahead and run this again, it should update the tables. Update the so product. Okay, so in this case, we already have the value with 12 and 13, so we probably have to update this as 14 and 15. So and then run this. So oh, okay. So since that didn't complete, we have to do a rollback again, and then we will have the begin commit statements again, and then it's committed. And if you go and see the products table now, so we have 14 and 15 as the rice and butter, and 11 as the long rice food. So this is a simple example over here, and then we can also, I will comment this out, and then we can also see another example for the save points. We'll try to use begin, and then we'll have a commit statement over here, and anything goes wrong, then we'll do changes over with the rollback. So update the product set name equals to, so long NODL is noodles, so we'll set the name as long noodles, unit underscore price as 2.5, where product ID, let's say which product should we uh update. So we can update the product with the 11 of long noodles, and then with the rice, so we'll just call it rather than long, short noodles, and where this and the product ID equals to 11. So this should be able to run it. We can also have a save point, and we'll call this my save point. All right, my save point, and enter the statement. Now we'll do insert into, and then we'll try to insert into product table as we did before. I'll just copy this over here, and then just paste it over here. So insert into product ID. So now we have to go up to 16 because we were up. Now we were already doing up to 15. Then we'll call this let's say Maggie, or noodles. Maggie is type. So I can also give it a name as berry. Okay, fruit as a, so fruit, and then berry is sweet in terms of taste. 16 berry, and we'll call this as $2.2 or $2.1. And then we can have another save points. So basically have it as a save point, my save point, the same name I have given. And we'll have another insert statement over here, and then we'll have this as a 17, and then this is berry fruit, or we can also give it as jackfruit. This should be, let's say, $1.1. And then to see an example of the rollback to my set point, so let's see a rollback to my save point. Okay, now with this statement, we should what we should see is update with the 11 product ID and inserting a new value, and then it will insert another value, but it will roll back to the first save point over here, and show the second insert should be rolled back. So it should only basically have one insert and one update. So okay, so there is an error. Okay, sorry, I forgot a comma over here, and the unit price over here. I think we probably wants to roll back again because we begin the transaction, and then okay. Now if I see the products table again, this is giving me butter up to 15, and then we will run this command, and it ran successfully. So we'll see the content of the product again, and sure enough, one row has been added and 11 has been changed to short noodles. And the second statement over here, the insert was inserted, but it rolled back again, so it did not take into any effects. And we can also release a value. So let's say I'll just after a rollback, I'll just do release to release save point my underscore save point. So what this basically does is it releases the first save point. So this rollback will roll back up to here, because at this point it is not rolled back. And then this will release the first save point. The second rollback will go, and then second will be up to there. Or if we just remove this rollback over here, and then have another rollback, and to save point, my save point, all right. So now it releases the first save point. So this rollback should basically go up to here. So these two statements should not take place. So let's change this noodles to 2.5 to, let's say, 4.6, and then 11, and then shorten noodles uh, to like medium noodles. Change this to medium noodles, and insert the value. So since we have added up to 16, so we need to add from 17 and then 18 over here, so that it doesn't give any error. And then berry, will call that big berry, and this berry fruit, we can call this a jackfruit. Okay. So this is our statement. So our expectation is like we just update the update product with the medium and noodles, and then we will not have any insert and these operations and performed. It will be performed, but it will be used by the rollback to revert back. So we'll just run this, and query ran successfully. So we have the output now. So let's check the product table again. And sure enough, we have up to the 16. So we changed 11 to medium noodles over here, and not the 17 and the 18 value. These were inserted, but these were rolled back. So we don't see that in our products table. So this is an example for the transactions. I will be talking about a store procedure in the next section.